What is up, guys? Welcome to Alpha Trading with FX Kelly. Now, in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to mark your support and resistance levels. Okay. Now, one may ask, what is support and resistance?
What is that? What the is that?
Okay, picture this. I'm seated on a chair with my feet on the ground right now. So if I decide to stand on the table now becomes my level of support. Why? Because my feet cannot get below the top of the table. I cannot stand through the table. My feet can only get on top of the table and not below that. Okay, so the table is now a support for me. And then if I decide to jump very high, I'm going to hit my head. Why? Because there's a roof in the way. Okay, so the roof serves as a resistance level that is resisting me from going up. All right, so in layman terms, that is support and resistance. Then there is key level. What is a key level? A key level is a level that serves as both support and resistance. All right, so with this example, the table was my support. Now if I decide to go under the table, I cannot stand up through the table. I'm going to hit my head below the table. All right, so the table now becomes a key level because it served as support for me and served as resistance. All right, so if I had my younger brother standing on top of the table with me under the table, his feet cannot get below the top of the table, my head cannot get above the top of the table. So that is a key level, all right, serving as both support and resistance. Now if you are aspiring to be a price action trader, or you're actually a price action trader, the traditional indicators are of little to no use to you. All right, so support and resistance is kind of like your own personal indicator. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into the chart.
Let's go.
Now, as a price action trader, support and resistance is very crucial in my trading. All right, so I'm just going to take you through how I draw my support and resistance. Okay, so the first thing about support and resistance is the higher time frames usually respect it more than the lower time frames. So the weekly time frames and the daily time frames are what I use to draw my support and resistance. The second thing is that I always use the most recent price action. All right, so I do not go so far back into the past. I use the most recent price action to draw my support and resistance and mark it up for the future. That's price action in the future. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame on dollar index because that's what we're going to use for example today. Now you draw your first support and resistance at the most obvious turning points of price. Okay, so looking at this chart right now, the most obvious turning points are the lower ones, the lower turning points, and then the higher turning points. All right, so let me just mark this up for you. And whenever drawing your support and resistance, make sure it touches the bodies of at least two candles. Okay, so make sure it's touching the bodies of at least two candlesticks. All right, just know it's not going to be perfect, okay, but it is an area that you are looking to know what the market is doing, if it's going to continue its initial trend or it's going to change direction. All right, so this is my most obvious point. We have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 touches here, so makes it valid. Yeah, then we look at the top. The most obvious turning point here is this point right here. Okay, all right, so when you look closely, you're going to notice that price came all the way, tapped here, reversed a bit, came back, tap it, and now dropped. All right, so there was 2 touches up here, so that makes it obvious. All right, now we're going to look for points where price was initially support and then resistance, or vice versa. Okay, so let's look closely here. You're going to realize that price came here. Let me just finish drawing this before I explain. Okay, let's trim it out a bit. All right, we do not want our support and resistance to be so wide. Okay, so when you look closely, you're going to see that price came, tapped here, dropped, tapped in a bit, dropped a bit, broke through, and then it became a support. Initially it was a resistance here. Okay, so when price came all the way down, it came down here, tapped it, came down again, tapped it again. So we have more than 2 touches, so we are good to go. All right, if you follow through, you're going to see that price reacts at that exact point. All right, now where's the next obvious point? Let's take a look here. Okay, all right, so looking at this point, you realize that all right, so price came all the way up, tapped it, broke through, tapped it again, and went all the way up. Okay, so we have 2 touches here. Now looking here, we have another touch here. All right, so it's safe to say that this is a valid key level. All right, now with this particular one, I believe through experience, I think when you go down to the daily time frame, you're going to see it more clearly. Okay, so let's have a look on the daily time frame and go back to the weekly here. All right, so as you can see, let me move this up a bit. Okay, so you can see it clearly here on the daily time frame. All right, so price came, tapped it, dropped, broke through, tapped it, went up, tapped it again. So this makes it a valid key level. All right, so I think it's clearer on the daily time frame than on the weekly. Okay, so as you can see, price later came, tapped it, dropped again, tried to reverse here but broke through, bounced on it and went back up again. All right, so it's valid. Yeah, so let's go back to the weekly. Let's see if we missed any other key levels. Okay, all right, I can see one key level here. Okay, and I think this will also be more clear on the daily, but as you can see, price came here, bounced off, kind of, broke through and reacted to this point, bounced off, and then broke through, bounced off, came down again, broke off. All right, so this is also a valid key level. Okay, all right, so let's move to the daily time frame now. Let's see if we missed any other obvious points. Okay, looking at this point here, it looks like price reacted at this exact point. Okay, so let's extend it a bit, and there you have it. Price actually came here, tapped it and reversed. All right, so that makes this a valid key level. Okay, you do not want to mark so many key levels on your chart because it makes it a bit crammed up. All right, so this is an example of how to draw key levels, support and resistance on your chart. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do so and hit the post notification bell icon so that you'll be privy to videos like this to help with your trading. All right, okay, thanks for watching. Bye.